What's good, gentlemen? Coming up, right? A lot of us when we're growing up, well, not everybody, but some of us, we want to have the best life. We want to live our best life. We want to make it. We want to be rich. We want to be famous. We want to do all that and a third, right? So we watch all these movies, magazines, music videos, and they always show us success as what you show. Like you popping bottles of Moet, you driving a Mercedes, a Rolls Royce, you live in a big house, you on beaches in the Bahamas, and all that. Right? That's what success is. You got Rolex watch on you. So we all go looking for those emblems and symbols of success to show to others we've made it, and to feel to ourselves or within ourselves that we've made it in life. We are succeeding. We're doing the best. We are definitely winners, right? That's what we do. But the reality is that is not how it actually works. How it actually works is that that's not how it went. That's not how you win. There is another level, right? We see this, for instance, I was watching this interview with Lil Wayne, and he was talking about a G-Wagon and how it was a longer interview, but that was one of the things he mentioned. It was about he didn't know what a G-Wagon was. He thought it was just a Jeep. Like, he didn't really know much about it. He didn't know nothing about it. He was just, yeah, okay. And he saw one, and then when he went to the Middle East, went to Dubai or UAE or whatever, and them guys over there were all about the G-Wagon. And he was like, what is that? Is that a type of Jeep? And they were like, nah, it's a G-Wagon. He's like, what's a G-Wagon? So he kind of got put on the game of what a G-Wagon is when he was in the Middle East by these Arab dudes. They showed him what it's about. In terms of car game, they got their car game on lock, right? And another one was that he didn't know who 21 Savage was, because he thought 21 Savage is like 21 guys, and they were called 21 Savage, 21 dudes in a group, but it was just one guy. So he didn't get it. He didn't understand. And it's not because he was being facetious, was being silly, was being mean, or was being cruel. It's just silly. It's just because Lil Wayne works. Lil Wayne is always working. If he's not in studio, he's on set. If he's not on set, he's in the editing studio. If he's not there, he's working on his businesses. If he's not there, he's on tour. He's doing concerts. He's doing interviews. He's creating merchandise. He's working flat out. He's got a team supporting him to maximize every idea and every talent that he's got to make money. He's doing tons of shows, right? He's not doing one show a year. He's doing like 50, 60, 100, 200. Some people are doing 300 shows a year. That is what success actually is. Success is successfully delivering your talent, your gift, your service, and your product to the market as many times as possible. Success is doing 400 stand-up sets as a comedian per year. Success is doing a world tour with 100 cities. Success is filling 10 stadiums of 50,000 people globally and going to all those shows within 6 months. Success is 400 days on set to produce one movie. Success is 10,000 hours writing a novel. I think that's something that Ayn Rand talked about once in one of her interviews, where she spent, I think it was 13 years writing one book. And that can happen on one book, right? Thousands of hours, tons of thinking, rethinking, mistakes, corrections, start overs. That's what it takes to be a success. That's what success is. That's the true face of success. The true face of success is not a party with models popping bottles. Success is 3 a.m., 4 a.m., Kobe Bryant shooting shot after shot after shot after shot. Success is Tiger Woods 1,000 hits of the golf ball in practice per day. That is what success looks like. Success is the PhD scholar in the library 10 hours a day researching, thinking, writing. Success is the engineer redeveloping the idea for 16 months, 18 months, 20 months to get the correct design of an engine, the correct design of the car. Success is That person, 4 a.m. in the morning, facing the cold of the ocean, of the air, the wind, of the mountain, to get a perfect picture of a bird or an eagle flying across the prairie or flying across the mountain range. That is what success is. Success is that hard work. What we all tend to see is the outcomes of it, the outcomes of the labor, the outcomes of the work. So we look at the outcomes in terms of the person is now worth $10 million, is now worth $1 billion, and we think, oh man, you just have to want it and show it. That's so it's like we miss the whole process of production. We want to go from seed to fruit without going through the growth phase of the tree to get the roots down there, to get the resources, to figure out how to get the sunlight. We are jumping stages. And the reason is because the media around us is selling us this fantasy, this idea. It's in the music we listen to sometimes. It's in the books we see. It's in the magazine articles. Oh, the billionaire maverick. It doesn't tell you this guy took 27 years to make $1 billion. It doesn't tell you that this guy took 8 years to make $1 billion. It doesn't tell you that Jack Ma was rejected 30 times from prestigious universities in America and elsewhere. But the man still became one of the richest men on earth. It doesn't tell you about the times people were sleeping on couches, writing code for their programs. The time that people were getting fed by other people because they couldn't afford to buy meals because they were so busy trying to build a product, trying to build something that could launch the world. Nobody tells you about that. Or the 100 kilometers the guy walked, or the tomatoes the guy had to sell. So what happens is, throughout the world, we got all these young people and older people. People, it's not even about just young people, it's older people who have gotten this idea into their life or into their mind that it's supposed to be all fun and games and exciting and interesting. It's not supposed to be boring. It's not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be a journey of frustrations, challenges, and failures. Nobody's telling you, listen, before this guy even made his first $10,000, he had failed 15 times. This guy, before he even got himself to $10 million, had failed 14 times. This guy, before he made his first $1 million, he had gone through heartbreak. He'd been divorced twice. Women both left him for some guy they thought was going to be more successful. He'd been divorced twice, left by women. He'd been rejected from jobs. His idea was rejected by companies, rejected by the market, before he hit that fifth great idea that took him from nothing to celebrity status because of the success of it. It's only when the world saw it and started seeing his nice cars, his nice house, the way he dresses, and say, whoa, he's living the life. Wow, I want to be that. How do I get that? And we don't see that it's not the Rolex that makes you successful, son. It isn't. It isn't. The Rolex is a symbol of success, but to get that Rolex, it means you got to put the time. You got to put the time. You got to watch your time. You got to spend your time working, pushing, struggling, dealing with people who don't believe in you, dealing with challenge. One of the things that most of us never think about when it comes to success is how that moment when you don't know what to do, you don't know how to achieve the thing you want to achieve, you don't know how to make your life move forward, and nothing is happening. Weeks go by and nothing is happening. No phone calls, no email with some great, amazing news. Everything just seems like so minuscule in nature. Nothing big is happening in your life, but and you get afraid and you think, oh my God, I'm never going to be anything in life. I look at how old I am. You freak out. You freak out. And what do you do in those times? We see from those who've succeeded that you keep going. You make a plan and you try something new. You keep going until you succeed. That is what success really looks like. And we need to be aware of that, because the biggest danger is everybody thinks Rick Ross is just out partying and smoking and drinking champagne. And Drake is just out there chilling in his $1 million Toronto mansion. Or that Bill Gates is just out there enjoying life by the lake. Or, that's not how it works. The way it really works is that Bill Gates really works every day. He's thinking, he's analyzing, he's trying new ideas, he's thinking of new things. He's got employees bringing ideas to him. He's got a team trying to figure out new things. That's what the CEO of Google is doing. That's what the CEO of BMW is doing. That's what the CEO of Audi is doing. That's what the CEO of British Airways is doing. They get these huge salaries, but they are not sitting idle. Every day they're worrying about how to keep the airline afloat. They're worrying about how to keep BMW at the front and center stage of the auto business. That's how it works. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of trying to figure out which way to go, what to do, and how to do it. And it's not always as easy as it appears. There's a lot to it, and you've got to understand that. So if you go on a journey and you say, I want to be rich, I want to be successful, guess what? How many hours are you spending in the lab? How many hours are you spending in the library? How many hours are you spending on your video editing suite? How many hours on your word processor? How many hours in the spreadsheets? How many hours making presentations? How many shows you doing? How much product are you developing? How many patents are you filing? How many trademarks are you filing as well? How many hours are you spending in lines doing paperwork at different government departments, business registration? How many of those things are you doing? The more of those things you're doing, the more you will be able to go out into the world at some point and pop bottles on away and not worry about it. To go out there and buy yourself a Jaguar, a Bentley, whatever it is. It's hard work. And you've got to realize it's hard work and it's a lot of time. It's not 5 minutes. It's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years in some cases to go from the dream to the reality. You've got to be willing to commit for that kind of length of time. That's why a lot of people don't become millionaires. That's why a lot of people don't become billionaires. That's why a lot of people don't have the life Drake has. They don't have the life that Rick Ross has. Don't have the life that Warren Buffett has, because he's put in the effort to get that life. He's made the sacrifices required by that existence. And if you're not willing to make the sacrifices Rockefeller was willing to make, or the sacrifices Vanderbilt was willing to make, how do you think you're going to own a penthouse in New York City? How do you think you're going to own a whole block of buildings in London? How do you think you're going to own a whole community, a whole residential development in Namibia or in South Africa, or own shopping retail outlets in Indonesia? It's not going to work that way. You're going to have to put in the effort and produce product that the market is able to consume. And you've got to bring it to market. And that means you got to develop it. So before you start thinking success is all fun and games, remember that everybody who's at the top of the game went through hell to get there. And you got to prepare to go to hell for yourself to get there. I mean, think about it. Samuel Jackson didn't really become a success until he was in after 42. Robert Downey Jr., for the majority of the time he was an actor, or has been an actor, he was not doing incredibly great. In fact, at some point it just seems like that was the end of that guy. He was going nowhere. But in the last 10 years, man, the things he's done, the salaries he's earned, have made up for a whole lifetime of struggle. So remember that. If you're going to start a journey, you got to understand you may die on that journey and never reach the outcome. So you got to love that thing that you're trying to achieve that much that even if you died trying to do it, it will have been worth it. So consider that before you think it's all about popping bottles, hanging out in yachts in the Mediterranean or the French Riviera. It ain't that easy. Before you get to eat the fruit, you got to plant the seed, nurture the seed, grow the seed, get the tree, prune the leaves. It's a whole other process. Keep the pesticides off the tree. Keep the insects off the tree. All that stuff. It's a lot of work. And you have to love doing that work as much as you love the outcome that you're going for. Otherwise, you ain't going to get there. You ain't never going to have it. Do not delude yourself into a childish notion that you're just going to be 0 to 100 and you're going to be popping bottles. 0 to 100 and you're the most successful in your industry. You ain't even done one song. You ain't even done one movie. You ain't even made one book. You ain't even built one car. You ain't even made one fashion line. You ain't even done one merger and acquisition. You need to start thinking of things in a serious way with a serious mind. Until next time, be more, do more, become more on your purpose.